And now we are into the winners bracket round of 8 here with SG taking on Sweet Like Ice. Obviously both of these teams winning their round of 16 matchup to advance into the round of 8 and beating up here for game 1 of this 3-game series. As you can see, Limp is apparently absent with My Nut Sucks filling in for him on that. I don't know if he's going to play Suicide or support or whatever he's going to do, but um, the SG will be a man down. I don't imagine it'll affect them too much. They're pretty clearly the favorites in this matchup. They're usually considered either the best or the second best team in competitive HoN right now, depending on whether you put them above BMG or not. They're still above BMG in points in Cycle 10, of course, and they did qualify for that first overall seed, but a lot of that was coming from earlier on cycle performances when BMG did not do particularly well and SG was winning cycles, and of course the last few cycles it's been a bit of a struggle for SG. They haven't done particularly well, or they've done particularly well, and they've made the finals in every single cycle, but they haven't won consistently, certainly, as BMG has taken over really that crown from SG. Then again, SG took DreamHack winner, and they took it relatively easily as BMG got knocked out kind of early. So, no matter how you slice it, SG is pretty clearly the favorite here, and that's about all there is to say about that. Moving to the banning phase real fast, because, boy, they're already done with the first stage of picks. We've got Ophelia, Keeper of the Forest, Pestilence, and a Warbeast, so theoretically 3 jungles there, but in practice only 2, as a Suicide and of course, that first pick Pesty comes out, as Swindle is going to ban that out because he's afraid that other teams will pick up that hero up first. He's talked before about thinking that Pesty is pretty much the best hero in the game right now, so that's not surprising that he bans it out. His other ban is Ophelia, of course, also first pick material, considered the best jungler by many people right now. I'm not sure if I'd go that far. I think Tempest is right up there with her because Tempest isn't as reliant on good spawns, but of course a great Ophelia game will often turn into more than a great Tempest game because that Tempest ultimate is just a little too easy to cancel, and he needs too much farm in order to prevent that from happening. Of course, the Warbeast and Keeper of the Forest bans here from Fitspell are really both Suicide heroes, so clearly targeting that weakness that they have on SG with Limp being gone, their Suicide player, trying to limit their versatility in terms of heroes they can pick up as well. So into the picks right now, Wretched Hag, Ravener, Grunex, and then Torture on the Legion side, Parasite, Bubbles, Demented Shaman, and Zephyr on the Hellborn. Looking at Legion real fast, it's obviously a Suicide Grunex, so a mid Ravener, probably going to be a Torture along there for a dual lane, and going to be a short lane Hag. So that Hag is going to be run as a carry. First pick Hag, never a bad decision. She can run in all 3 lanes, so I like that. Picking up Rav second, a little more boxed in, as is Grunex, but once you've got that Hag, you can put anywhere. You can start making some more really forced or decisions that really put you into a certain setup. So lanes here from Sweet Like Ice are reasonably predictable, but certainly should be strong. Rav, Torture, of course, if he lines up Bot Lightning, that is very likely a kill, of course, as chain reactions then come out, and heroes get locked down, and Rav just does so much damage. Krennic's a popular Suicide. Swindle does very often ban that hero, so a little surprising he didn't here. I guess not being particularly concerned about Sweet Like Ice's ability to play an effective Grunex, or maybe he's just got that much confidence in Chessie as a short laner and potentially Z-Freak as a babysit support. He does pick up Parasite with that first pick, so certainly if we see a pseudo tri-lane run top, or even if it's just a solo short, Parasite should be able to help out a little bit in that short lane. Bubbles, Demented Shaman, and Zephyr, as I assume that Desham's going to be a support. Could still be run as a solo short lane with Zephyr in the middle and the Suicide Bubbles, of course. But I expect that Zephyr is going to be given to Chessie because Chessie's Zephyr is amazing, and yes, that's definitely be a support Demented Shaman in Z-Freak's hands as Doctor comes out, and that's going to be a short lane Doctor, a mid Chessie Zephyr, probably with Desham, on top of a Suicide Bubbles and a jungle Parasite, and Parasite's actually going to be rated up by Z-Freak because apparently My Nut Sucks is going to be their support player. So Z-Freak going to head back into the jungle. Of course, in earlier incarnations of SG before Chessie showed up, he was their jungle player, and I think he's probably top 3 junglers in the game, right below Chessie in terms of total skill, and right up there with Hanskin and My Nuts. So Certainly no loss of skill quality here with Z-Freak on that Parasite in the jungle. Final pick over here for the Legion side is going to be that Tempest, as he somehow managed to make it all the way through the second round of bans. That's a little surprising considering how Swindle Melons feels about the viability of a dual support lineup against a jungler. He said it multiple times, he just doesn't think that's a thing you can do. The jungle lineup just has such an advantage, and I personally agree with him quite a bit there. So interesting that he'd allow Tempest to get through there and allow him to get picked up by Sweet Like Ice over here. Meanwhile, it looks like there's going to be a gank squad run in the Legion jungle, as they're clearly attempting to prevent the Hellborn from warding anything up. All 5 heroes here are making their way into the jungle. Early ward goes down onto the rune, and on the other side, it looks like Bubbles over here, played by Limp, will be Suicide, and he does have a ward, so if he tries to put it down, he could die. I think he's going to be pretty careful about that, though, and wait before he does so to make sure that either, if they're going to hang around here, then they're going to be late to their lanes. So other than that, it looks like the lanes are pretty obvious with the D-Shum Zephyr middle, the solo short Doctor, as Swindle actually is playing the farmer in this game, which is a little interesting. Or really, I guess the primary farmer. Chessie's Zephyr is amazing if you haven't seen it before. I think that was the first hero that he played that was like, let me know this guy's amazing. This guy's just such a great player. He plays a fantastic Zephyr, so that's, would normally be considered a weird pick, but it's one of Chessie's heroes, man. He's just so good with that hero. But enough of slobbering all over him, as the Legion lineup looks relatively predictable. We actually have the Rav Torturer lane being run bot, as Hag is middle. I don't particularly like this. This Hag is going to get boxed out pretty heavily. Chessie on Zephyr won't die, certainly, to this. D-Sham won't either, considering all the healing he can drop. And he's now just going to box out this Hag and prevent her from doing much of anything. Meanwhile, on bot, Bubbles can just take cover this Ball Lightning, so that probably won't result in any kills on him. Of course, Limp does have to take an early health bot as a result of some harassment that came out. Torture did go Impale first, as clearly Bubbles took quite a bit of damage from that. So I expect Minots to have a pretty solid time here, actually. He does hit the Ball Lightning, and he's going to take a stun. Shell Surf comes out, and there's the Impalement. Going to try to walk him down. I don't think this is going to be quite enough damage, but it's going to be close. Yeah. So Minots will have to take a second health pot here, probably either go all the way back to base or buy one from the observatory. He is going to go all the way back to base. That's a pretty good decision, I think. So really a lot of roles getting messed up here, as the absence of Limp changes everything. Minots is on the Suicide, Swindle's on the short laner, Z-Freak's in the jungle, Zephyr's mid. Little interesting, I think, that they choose to mess all this up as, wow, that healing wave, that's what happens. Healing wave plus Zephyr Gust just does so much damage and nearly killed that Hag there. Really, and this is going to be the problem. Even with the Blink, she's got Gust, that's going to be an issue. We have seen, speaking of this Suicide matchup up here, actually, as bottom, Bubbles is going to get found by Torturer, and he's now in some trouble. I'm not going to eat a Ball Lightning, as Ravener's more interested in taking the creep wave, and now he actually is going to run into Bubbles, as he's battling a Shell Surf away, get the Illusion Rune on bottom. He is still level 1. He's gotten CS he's gotten experience for a few free kills, but only sitting at 79 experience per minute. It's really, really kind of awful. Anyway, on top lane, we've actually seen this matchup before a few times, Grinix versus Doctor, and we've seen Grinix win it and we've seen Doctor win it. I do expect Swindle to take this here just because, he's a really good player, and that's often what happens as these illusions come out. Try to force this Torture out a little bit. Ravener comes over to try to box out Minots, and boy, they're just really interested in keeping him down. Tempest free farming over here in the meantime, as he hits 280 gold per minute, so quite good farm here, now 305. And Minots is just having a hell of a time trying to leech experience here. Gonna put some harassment onto Ravener, but Torturer is once again in the vicinity trying to box him out. Grinix up top is having no such difficulty, as he does hit level 4. Right on par with Swindle here. Of course, he is at half health, but he's at full mana, so if he wants to, he can use that Rift Stock to do some more harassment. On the other hand, if he does, he might get pulled right back in by Doctor, and that could be a serious problem. In middle, Balthasar is actually doing pretty well on levels at level 4 compared to 2 level 3s from Disham and Zephyr, but of course Zephyr has pretty much complete free farm here at 270 gold per minute compared to the 140 of Hag. And Hag can certainly recover, so this isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's obviously an advantageous position for her, and she'd like to be doing a little better, I think, than this. With the blink, she can be relatively aggressive, you know, as compared to some heroes that couldn't do it. And meanwhile, Swindlemelons gets the assistance of his brother on Z-Freak, and bam, there it is. So, not sure what Grinix is doing up there to allow himself to get killed. His blink comes out from Hag, and it's gonna be an Invis-Rune, so that's actually really valuable from them. Heal comes out, so Hag's gonna take quite a bit of damage, but she is invisible. We'll be able to leech quite a lot of experience from this lane here, as it looks like Jesse's just gonna come up to this creep wave and do what he can to take it out, allow the tower to push in, but now he's got some pretty serious problems. No haunt, curiously enough, on Hag. And that, honestly, if she had had a haunt there, instead of a level 2 blink or a level 2 sonar scream, a level 2 haunt, that could have been it. As it's going to get pulled in once again on top of the healing wave, and that's going to be actually a death on Minuts on bottom. As Ball Lightning will hit there, and then there's a chain of reactions, and now there's dead bubbles. So, sorry for missing that, but of course replay means we can go back and cast it once again. Up on top, we've got Grinix still sitting okay at 281 experience per minute, but down to 150 gold per minute, so certainly not very good. Swindle, on the other hand, at 430 GPM. He must have nearly perfect CS. Yeah, 30 and 5. So that's actually the second best in the game, down at 32 compared to Ravener, who is at 387 gold per minute. So pretty strong GPMs already here, with two heroes at or above, or near, right around 400 GPM. In both this Ravener and actually Ball Lane's going to miss there. Both Ravener and Dr. Repulsor. So bot tower is going to go down as Tempest comes in for the push on top of the Torture Impalement. And that's going to give a pretty decent gold lead actually to this Legion side, as they have 1k gold and 1k experience lead. And they're going to keep going because there's not much Minuts can do. There's no Ball Lightning on Ravener as he is out of mana, but you know, there's still 3 heroes here, and Bubbles will do what he can to stop this push, and it's going to be quite significant. But this tower is at least going to get to half, if not worse. Shellsurf goes out trying to do some harassment, but the Elemental split. And they're going to put some tower damage. Meanwhile, once again, Grinix goes down thanks to the... and there's Dust of Revelation and face up for Grinix as he dies. So Parasite at 315 gold per minute, thanks to mostly his 2-kill involvement, 1-0 and 1. And the Tempest, of course, farming just as well, but then we've got Zephyr in middle, farming at 300 gold per minute compared to this Hag, who's at 205, and Grinix is just doing awfully. So the gold lead swinging right back in favor of SG as we pick up that kill, or they pick up that kill on top. This bot tower is going to die, so they're just going to pull a secondary tower kill here.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
And at some point, they're going to need to address this bot push. I don't think they're going to keep going, but as long as SG doesn't pose a response to this, I don't think there's any reason to stop. That tower kill will give them back a 1.5k experience or gold lead. And it's really a case here where the gold is much more evenly spread, as you can see on the Legion side, whereas on the Hellborn side there's really tiers. There's Doctor all the way up there at 450, Zephyr and Parasite at 300, and then Bubbles and Disham with nothing. As a Riftstock, Grinix is going to come in here on top of the Disham. There's the Riftstock, and the Shadow Steps will send both on top of the Backblast and the Grinix Ultimate, and that's a dead Disham. So good play there, bringing in Grinix to clean up the kill onto Minot Sucks, playing that support Demented Shaman. Just wasn't able to do much of anything. Up on top, Repulsor's going to push this tower in a little bit more, get it to about half health, but obviously won't be able to take it. He just doesn't have any pushing potential. As a hero, really, it's not, doesn't do that. It's not one of his things. But he does farm pretty well, and at 430 gold per minute now, he should be well on his way to getting that icon. He's already got the Ring of Sorcery, which he will presumably split later, as the bot rune is going to be contested. Who's going to be? It's going to be, I believe it was Chessie that grabbed it. Yeah. But he's now going to be in some trouble as Grinnick's ultimate comes out. There goes this call, actually, and here comes Dr. Repulsor, but he's going to take the Tempest ultimate, and that's going to be a bunch of damage. Regeneration rune on Grinnick's, I believe, and down goes Swindle Mullins. So that's a bit of a problem, because now he's under 400 gold per minute. He's dead for another 30 seconds, can't farm. And Legion's going to take a pretty decent gold lead here, as they've got 3 heroes above 300 gold per minute, and a mid-tower push is on the way as 4 of them are here, including Tempest Elementals. So they'll be trying to take out this tower. And I really wouldn't be surprised if they did so. Now 5 heroes, Torture Impalement is here, Parasite's off to the side looking for an opening, but it's not going to find one. Ball Lightning comes out, not going to hit anybody, but it's going to be a scout more than anything. And despite the glyph, this is going to be a tower kill, one way or another. Zephyr comes in here, looking for a pick, but not going to happen. Parasite's found himself a Vagabond leader, but again, it's not going to be enough. He's just going to hide in the trees here, actually, and he might be in a bit of trouble. No, as they're not going to initiate on him. Instead, choosing to back the entire Legion back. The Legion team will choose to back off there. Repulsor's going to jump in here, looking for this kill on Hag, but not going to be there. As, you know, really, even if he had caught the Hag, there's 3 more Legion heroes here looking to back her up. So Hag recovering quite a bit, actually now out-farming this Zephyr at 300 gold per minute compared to 285. And the Legion team has taken a pretty substantial lead here at 3k gold. Experience is just about even. But as you can see from the GPM charts, they're doing substantially better than the Hellborn are in terms of farm. With both the junglers out-farming, the short lane is out-farming, the mid hero is actually out-farming, despite, as actually Grinix opens in on Minotsucks once again, he's going to die. So, poor Disham, not able to do too much, sitting at 54 gold per minute, 0-2-0. He has, I believe, no CS. Yep, 0-2, which is pretty expected. That's not super surprising, but of course taking that 2 deaths is going to push him down below that simple gold tick of about 65 to 70 gold per minute, and with no towers down, that's just going to further exacerbate the problem. So Zephyr can clean up this mid lane here, and this top tower is in some pretty serious danger of falling. It's got 171, so it won't be deniable quite yet, but basically the Hellborn team has to decide if they want to try to push this in and take it, or if they're going to just back off, and it looks like they're going to take it at some point soon. With Parasite hiding in the jungle here, in case Doctor gets jumped on. It doesn't look like the Legion team's at all interested in stopping this push, though, as he takes over the Ballista, and this is definitely going to be a top tower kill. So unless we see some ports coming in here, this is definitely going to be a dead tower in favor of the Hellborn.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
So finally getting some towers down here on the Hellborn side, as Legion has already taken 3, including a secondary tower. And they're grouping up like they want to take a 4th in middle. Getting this mid tower down to about 3/4, and they're going to find Zephyr in the jungle. Actually, there's a Sonar Scream to kill him. So Chelsea's now getting picked off, and SG's got to do something about this, because they're, you know, falling behind a little bit here. They're not really even close to out of it. It's just that the momentum is pretty clearly on the side of Legion, and they've got the golden experience lead, however insubstantial the experience lead might be, and they're getting farm on all the heroes they need to.
The Hellborn have destroyed
As actually
a
the
Legion
second
tower.
tier tower up here goes down, which is surprising. So SG responding with that, and there goes the mid tier tower. All lightning coming in under bubbles, and he takes a shadow step and dies. So Swindle comes in with a port, but
Massacre.
it's once again a kill for the Legion side. As he tries to clean up the Legion, the Tempest Elementals, but that's not going to be nearly enough damage as they despawn. And it's worth noting that Hellborn may or may not outcarry here. In fact, I'd say they probably won't, because Grinix will eventually do more than Bubbles. Raviter and Zephyr is reasonably even. It's going to depend really on who's got the damage and who's got the tank. Because of course Zephyr, typically a more tanky hero, doesn't do that much single target damage, while Raviter can just wreck heroes. And he is reasonably tanky, but he's not on level with Zephyr. And then, of course, Tempest versus Parasite. You usually give that fight to Tempest because of his team fight potential, and he doesn't gank particularly terribly with those Glacial Blasts. Of course, Parasite with a lot more burst damage. Z-Freak here has finished up his Codex. He has 314 gold per minute, so that'll be nice. That'll give him the ability to pick off just about anybody on this Legion team. Rav probably not, and now not Tempest because he's got Steam Boots, but 602 have health on him. Torture, 796 on Hag, and 777 on Grunix, so those should all be kills if Parasite finds any of them. Anyway, so then the Hag versus Repulsor probably slightly favors Repulsor, but as he's going to get jumped in and pulled, and there goes a Shell Surf to kill him. So Balthazar takes a death here as Repulsor jumps in from far away to take him down, and now it's going to be a mid-push from SG, but they lose their top tower, and we're going to see ports coming in the secondary tower here on the Legion side. It's not going to be enough to prevent the tower from going down, but there's a Ball Lightning coming in on the Zephyr, and he's going to get locked in a little bit. He's going to put the Gust down, and assume the Typhoon at some point. Grenix ultimate comes down, there goes the Typhoon, but he's still actually in a lot of trouble as Tempest ultimate goes off on the other side, only going to kill Z-Freak. But Bubbles is actually in a ton of trouble here. He's going to die as well. Repulsor's got issues. Chessie manages to get away from Grenix, but Repulsor can jump away. So SG does get that mid tower, and they take out Ravener, but they lose Bubbles and Parasite. I believe the tower was actually killed in favor of the... Yes. So Z-Freak actually got the tower kill there. So probably just about an even trade for the Hellborn side as they get that very important mid tower, but they lose 2 heroes for just 1. Repulsor's, of course, I don't want to say recovered a little bit because this is actually below where he was before at 430 gold per minute, but it's above where he was when he took that death in mid lane. So he's doing pretty well, as Chessie is, and he's at 332 gold per minute. Probably should be farming a little better considering the strong start he got and how Zephyr does tend to snowball with those Typhoons. He farms very quickly. Meanwhile on bot, so Hag is going to find Dishon but take the Entangle and decide to back off. So Chessie's farm a little bit lacking. Parasite's doing pretty well, 300 gold per minute. Of course, Parasite doesn't farm that well, so 300 GP Parasite isn't bad at all. And then D-Shams managed to get to 107 gold per minute with his 5 creep kills. That's, of course, mostly from the towers. As they de-ward here, they've already got a Bound Eye on Grenix. Not really sure why, as Repulsor's going to jump in, actually, and not going to find Grenix as he rift stalks away. So I guess that Bound Eye is just for de-warding purposes, as there is no consistent invisibility on the Hellborn side except for Parasite with Wild Hunters. And here comes Ball Lightning, actually is going to miss, and that's going to save Repulsor, as Grenix was also coming in with the rift stalk and potentially his Shadow Step. As in middle, actually, Balthazar dies to Zephyr and Parasite. And the Wild Hunter comes in, face log on top of Leech in the Codex, and Chessie picks it up with the Gust, just stealing kills from Z-Freak there. But that's basically what I was saying, is, you know, Z-Freak's got a free kill on anybody who wants with this Codex. And then well clean, I believe those are double stacked Ancients. So meanwhile, the Ravener's Stormblades go out to kill the creep wave a little faster. So Chessie's now got himself up to 370 gold per minute. That's much better. On the Legion side, we see Tempest at 420 GPM. Excellent farm. Grenix at 275, pretty solid for a suicide. Hag at 338. Not bad considering how she started. She does have a light brand now, so she will actually farm considerably faster. And she did just take a death, so her GPM should go up at this point. Torture at 191, quite good for a support. Anytime you're around 200 GPM with support here, you're doing pretty well. Rav at 350, which is actually below where he was earlier, so he's fallen off a little bit as well. Perhaps because he's had to make space for other heroes to get some farm, and also because he did start fairly well at 380 gold per minute, but really he should be higher than this. As Balthazar gets picked off once more in the middle, as here comes Parasite with the face hug Codex and Chessie with the Gust, stealing more kills. He's just a thief there. Chessie's a bad man. Taking all those kills. Repulsor and Parasite set that up so beautiful. Just Chessie's like, no, I got a Gust. I'll kill him. But that is going to get him up to 400 GPM as we now see the experience lead swing back in favor of Hellborn. Legion still has a gold lead, but it is dropping. as they are getting picked off here and there. They've done really all the pushing they can. They could take this top secondary tower, but that's in a pretty dangerous position considering the whole of the Hellborn jungle is there, and the Hellborn should have it pretty well warded. But there's really nothing else for them to push. What they should be doing in the meantime is warding like crazy and taking some massive map control. There's the Bound Eye, gonna prevent AZ, Minot sucks wards actually from staying up and providing vision. He's got another ward here in the middle, and one more at Kong ward to prevent that from happening. But the vision here on the Legion side's a little lacking. Ward here on the Rune and a lane ward here in the middle. I'd like to see some more aggressive wards, especially at this top Rune, perhaps even in the Hellborn jungle, the traditional spots over here and up there. As meanwhile, Minot sucks gonna get picked off once more. Oh. As Rab eventually found him with a portal key and a haste rune. Boy, that's just going to be a dead. He died quickly. Gelfield goes out to prevent Rab from protection bubbles, but I'm not sure if he would have anyways. He just backs up for that haste rune. Face log into Torture, and that's going to be a dead Tort. As portal key actually got a Parasite with the Ball Lightning, and here comes Grinix as well with a Riftstock. There's a Shadow Step, not going to stun. And he needs to run, but the Hag comes in with a Sonic Scream, and he's dead. So, not a great trade there from Z-Freak. Killing the support Torture and trading himself for it. Certainly not a pick you would choose. Zephyr's going to clean up these triple stacked Ancients here, and that'll boost his GPM even more, up to above where Swindle Mullins is sitting. Yeah, he's going to be at 457 now, yes. So, Chessie's finally snowballing a little bit with those tornadoes and managing to pick up a bunch of farm. In middle, he'll find a lot more creep kills, in fact. And it looks like he's going for either Geobane or a Dawnbringer. Both of those are pretty decent choices. I think I'd say for the Dawnbringer here, because he likes mana.
A Legion tower.
His bot tower goes down, and Z-Freak is choosing to upgrade that Codex. It is level 3, so good for him. Anyway, I'd like to see the Dawnbringer a little bit more. Geometer's Bane's fine. I don't think for Zephyr it does all that much though, because it's more of a right-click carry type item where you want to do a bunch of auto attack damage, and it is going to be the Frostburn there, so eventually it's going to turn into a Dawnbringer, and I like that decision, because Zephyr doesn't really need the extra illusions. They don't do too much for him. And so he's switching some items up here apparently, as Logger's actually going to be left here. Meanwhile, up on top lane, we're going to have a tower push come in. And the secondary tower is going to fall, as they've done a good job of counter-warding pretty much everything, and they brought 5 heroes here. So that's the last outer tower for SG, and it's now dead. So the next thing to do, of course, is to push into the base, although I don't think they can really do that yet. SG is going to have a little too easy of a time defending against that, and I don't think they're really powerful enough yet to do so. So bot tower is going to get pushed in, but port's coming away, as the Legion team brings a couple, just tagging to defend actually. Zephyr's going to steal the enemy jungle for a while, as they do have a rune ward up, or a ward up here, as Siegfried picks off Grinix, and he will steal the Bound Eye. So Wild Hunter is going to be seen by Grinix, but no, that's not enough. Man, that fade time is just really long. Siegfried had enough time to do that. So now it's going to be Bound Eye on the Hellborn team, which is actually a pretty big problem because of that Grinix. That's why I was questioning a little bit earlier the decision to grab a Bound Eye in Grinix, especially so early. They didn't need it for dewarding, and now that the other team has it, which is reasonably predictable, it was going to eventually get turned over. Grinix's Riftstock is going to be a lot less effective because they're going to see him. Zephyr, meanwhile, cleaning up this bottom wave in front of Hag's face, as actually the Hellborn or Legion are bringing in 4 heroes to deal with him, but instead Zephyr will port out. Good decision there, as if he had tried to go back up the lane, there's a reasonable chance he would have been caught. So as this is progressing, it's pretty much a situation where SG is consistently out-farming the Legion side, as they now have taken a 2k gold lead and a 6k experience lead. Just doing a better job with their resources and controlling the map, as I just watched that happen. So Minus is actually being a ton of trouble. Going for that haste now, takes Glacial Blast on top of the Ball Lightning and the chain reactions, and he's dead. So there's a lot of action in this game. One of my less impressive Camera Warp games, I think. Swindle will take this top farm, and that hill will maintain him, of course. He is sitting on that icon as well as an Arcana, so I assume that's going to be a Hellflower. Bubbles over here has a Push Totem as well as Steam Boots and a Ring of the Teacher and Mystic Vestments, so pretty utility items here for those Bubbles. And nothing really it's going to be carrying, but enough to help out his buddies. Zephyr's got a... Interesting, looks like he's going for a Shrunken Head here. So instead of finishing the Dawnbringer, he's going to go Frostburn into Shrunken Head, which again is not really a problem considering all the magic damage coming out from this Legion side. Torture, Hag, Tempest, even Ravener, although it's auto attacks your superior magic, of course, so Shrunken Head doesn't care. But a lot of stuns, a lot of slows that that'll prevent. Disham is looking for Steam Boots, I think, but he's not going to get them anytime soon. I'm not sure that that's the best decision at this point, just because he could have been running around with Striders for quite a while. Bolstering Armband's nice for health, but it's not going to do too much in terms of his actual movement speed, and that's very important, of course. Parasite has that Codex on top of Blood Chalice and Striders and the Bound Eye he took from Grenix, and it is going to be a... It's really annoying. Oh, because he's in a creep, so I can't look at his items. It's extremely annoying. Codex doesn't say? No. Does it do that for everything? No. Just because he's in a creep. There we go, now he's out of it. Codex is going to be level 3 still. So he can upgrade it if he wants to, but has not chosen to do so just yet. On the Legion side, Mighty Blade picked up from Tempest, and soon that's going to be a Shrunken Head at some point. I don't think he's got it already. He has 380 gold per minute, but he's already picked up Astrolabe, Ring of Sorcery, and a Portal Key, so he pretty much definitely doesn't have it. It's on top of Steam Boots, of course. Grenix sitting on Energizer, Ghost Marchers, and Mighty Blade. I once again assume that's going to be a Shrunken Head, as you know the damage on Hellborn from magic is coming out pretty solidly. Zephyr, Bubbles, Dr. Repulsor, Disham, and Parasite, all heavy magic damage dealers. Wretched Hag has finished her Grimoire, so pretty solid timing, especially considering the lane she suffered in with middle. She's now up to nearly 400 GPM, as that has helped her from quite a lot, on top of the Steam Boots and the Grave Locket and the Bottle. Torture sitting on Steam Boots, Wards, and a Port, so not too much from him, of course, but he's a support, so that's not to be unexpected. And finally, the Ravener as Mystic Vestments, as Adra is actually going to get picked off here. Z-Freak, yep. Oh look, it's a dead Torture. Run, boy! Glacial Blast are going to come out, and now actually Z-Freak's in some trouble. As the Grenix Ultimate comes out, Plasma Bolt's going to again Shadow Step, and now he's dead, so... Boy, once again, Z-Freak trading his life for that of a Torture, and not a trade you want to be making. Because he's certainly more useful than that Torture, so... Probably not a great decision there, but, you know, you get pickoffs where you can, and if the Legion team's going to have a response that's good, that is that good, then there's not much you can do about it. Anyway, that Rav, Steam Boots, Stout Shield, Portal Key, and Mighty Blade, once again, assuming it'll be a Shrunken Head as he brings in another initiation on the Hag. There's the Hellflower, he's dead. So, Hellflower, Dr. Repulsor, plus the Icon of the Goddess is a bit of an issue. He's got 8 charges on there, so that's pretty strong regen. And then, of course, that Gift of the Goddess, when he gets a kill, basically just gets him all his mana back. So Dr. Repulsor, a serious problem. And he's got that Hellflower back in a couple of seconds, so he might look to open again. But Grenix is leaving the lane, so not much that can be done there. So I assume Doctor's going to be going for... I'm not even assuming anything. I would guess maybe a Shrunken. It's probably the right decision here. Just to make sure he doesn't get locked down by a stun or doesn't take a bunch of damage while he's in Time of Settlement from stuff like the Bat Blast or the Sonar Scream or the Haunt. As on bot, Ball Lightning for Bubbles, and he's going to push book away and he'll be totally fine. So not quite enough damage from Rav to kill this Bubbles by himself, but I think if he had brought Grenix with him, then that would have been a kill. Or Hag, for that matter. Really, pretty much anybody. Torture would have worked. That extra chain reaction stun. But certainly can't get the solo kill. As up on top, Fitspell's going to die as... Yep, there you go. We jump in with Doctor, and there's a dead Tempest, thanks to the Codex as well. So, combo kill going on here with Zephyr as he tries to solo it. Probably won't be able to, but he should be able to do enough damage that somebody else can come in and help him finish it off relatively quickly. The Shrunken Head is completed on Zephyr, the Astrolabe is on Bubbles, and Disham's still going for that Steam Boots as he has taken the Bound Eye away from Parasite. Who... Actually, Parasite dropped it, so I don't know how he got it back. I guess they just forgot about it, maybe? This is going to be a Convor kill, though, as 4 heroes from the Elite Hellborn team have joined up to help the... Actually, 5 Parasites there in that Warlock. So, good team effort there. Convor goes down, and the token is on Doctor, so he'll be able to get really reckless. Use up all his mana to jump into someplace, die, and then just jump right back out. And with that in mind, Hellborn are going to clean up the Legion jungle a little bit. Parasite's found himself a Wild Hunter, so he's going to be using that to try to get a pick off. As there is very little true vision on the Legion side. In fact, there's a Ward of Rev there, and I think that's about it. No Dust and no Eye, and no more Wards of Rev as we see Dr. Repulsor jump with the Ball Lightning, but he's just going to run away. Still taking Glacial Blast stuns, but he's going to be okay. Grinix ultimate coming out onto Minuts, but there's the Disham ultimate actually. It's Hellflower onto Wretched Hag. She's going to die, but Seafreak gets picked off by the Tempest ultimate. No, actually didn't go off. That was a typo. Torturer's in a ton of trouble. He's going to die as well. So Seafreak gets picked off by Ravener, but they managed to kill both Torturer and Hag, and that's going to be a mid-tower push and possibly even a base push. They push relatively fast, considering they don't really have any traditional pushing heroes. It's just a bunch of damage coming out from Zephyr and Doctor. Zephyr in particular, man, he's hitting hard. As they're going to jump Tempest over here, put the Hellflower down, and he's going to be in a ton of trouble and dead. Ball Lightning going to come in on the Dr. Repulsor, and he's going to take the second stun as well, but not really enough. Ravener gets pushed both in, and he's died. So now that they've gotten a couple more picks, this is definitely going to be a tower kill, and possibly even a Rax kill. The Blip goes out, but that's not going to do too much to stop them, just to slow them down a little bit. Hag's back up in a second, as they're actually going to pick off Grinix with a stun and Hellflower. Torturer's in a ton of trouble as well, and he's going to die. Grinix buys out, and he's going to try to take out, as a Head Blast actually hits 3, but a token gets used from the Repulsor. He's going to need to run away pretty quickly. Bubbles in a ton of trouble. He's going to die despite the takeover, as Ravener picks him off. Dr. Repulsor tries to get a pick up on Hag, but not being enough. Shrunken Head on Ravener is going to allow him to run around a lot. Grinix is going to put the Shadow Step on Zephyr and run away with the Rift Stock, and they have a Bound Eye on Disham. He takes the Hellflower, about Ball Lightning coming in from Ravener, but he's just going to run away, not use the second stun. So now we're going to push them off with Rax, thanks to a buyout from Grinix and Hag, apparently, and Ravener. Definitely Ravener, like that fight. I don't know if Hag used hers earlier, but definitely both Grinix and Ravener bought out that fight to get SG off of the mid-Rax. So, certainly the correct decision to make in the sense that they needed to not lose those Rax there, but certainly not a one engagement for Sweet Like Ice over here, as they are going to find Torturer once again, and he's going to die. And in fact, Swindle's going to get kill on Rav somehow. Yeah, like I was confused as well. Oh, the electric turd went down. And he just ran into it, I guess. So 2 kills are going to result in yet another push of middle, as SG has grouped up as 5 once more to try to take down these racks, and there's really nothing that Sweet Like Ice can do about this, I don't think. They've got Torturer back up, but Rab's not alive for 20 more seconds, and this is going to be a dead melee Rax. And a dead range Rax. As they jump in over here onto this Torturer, now he's dead as he's just sitting there doing nothing. Grinix is going to take the Shadow Step, but actually isn't going to do the stun. Grinix is now Hellflowered, and he's in a ton of trouble. There's a Codex, he's dead. Glacial Blast come out onto Dr. Repulsor, but not going to be nearly enough, as actually Hag has to blink back in. Zephyr's now diving the well. He takes the Ball Lightning. Kelp Field goes out onto a bunch. Tempest Ultimate's going to kill 3 and kill pretty much, well, not everybody, just Swindle Melons, and actually now Minuts. Zephyr's in a fair bit of trouble. He's going to have to leave, but Desham's going to die here. Pretty much no doubt, and drop the Bound Eye. And now Zephyr's still in some trouble as he takes the Black Blast, and there's going to be enough kill here to take him out as well. So, well diving on the part of SG does not go well. Ha 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 ha. What a surprise. Jumping into their well has not ended in a favorable position for the team of Hellborn. Legion, it looks like, is going to push up the gut, of course. They have no towers here to deal with, so they can push relatively quickly, and nobody is alive on SG for another 20 seconds unless we see buyouts. And I don't think anybody has it. No, Z-Freak's got a buyout, but that's it. I don't think he can do that much, though. They're instead going to turn their attention to bottom. They will be able to get this tower. I'm not sure how much else. Actually, that was a bad move from Rav, killing that last archer, because now Tempest can't get his elementals down. So they may not even get this tower, as both SGs, as both Minots and Minot Sucks are up. And here comes Z-Freak, so they're going to put some damage on this tower as the Hawk comes out into Desham, but he's just going to be fine. Bubbles interested in chasing a little bit, but more interested in defending and making sure nothing bad happens. Dr. Repulsor runs in the tree to see as if Hag is still hanging out there for some reason as Rav steals the Ancients, grabs a regen rune, and will run on out of there. Grenix up here stealing the Hellborn team's jungle, so probably a good move there, as he does have a wrist stock to get out of sticky situations, but is still a little bit froggy there with his decision to go into the enemy camp, down 10k gold and 11k experience, or 11k gold really. Shrunken Head finished up there on Hag to add to Ravener's Shrunken Head, and now Tempest's Shrunken Head, so 3 Shrunken Heads here on the Legion side, compared to just the 1 on Z-Freak on Hellborn. And, I mean, there's a fair bit of magic damage on both sides, so I'm kind of surprised that they both haven't picked up Shrunkens, or they haven't picked up more Shrunkens on Hellborn, particularly on Swindle, who has decided to go the Frostwolf Skull route instead of the Shrunken Head, which I think he's just doing that pretty much because he thinks this game is over, but I would assume that under normal circumstances he'd go Shrunken before he'd go Frostwolf. Meanwhile, SG's once again grouping up in middle to try to do something. I don't think they need to push up straight through mid. I don't think that would be, end very well for them. Instead, they're going to take this bot, push, and grab the tower and possibly the racks here, as the Bound Eye is still sitting right here in front of the tower. I don't know why it's there. I mean, come on, somebody's got to go pick that up, right? Like, thank you. Come on now. He's actually going to be able to spot out this ward pretty quickly if he moves over a little bit. Oh, he's not going to. But SG is sort of waiting for the creep wave here, cleaning up the Legion's creeps as they're on push down the lane. Ball Lightning to come out here and miss. Everybody has a nice jump from Doctor comes in. Parasite's hanging around in mid-turn. Zephyr decided to take the tower as he can do that. He is reasonably tanky with that Helm of the Black Legion and Shrunken Head and DB and Void Talisman. Grenix is going to rift stock, but not going to open as the Blue Fortification comes out for Legion side. Slowing them down a little bit, but not stopping this tower kill. The Electric Trench comes everywhere. Ball Lightning is actually going to hit the background on a Parasite, but he's going to take the Unbreakable, so they're not going to be able to kill him immediately. And now he's going to jump into a Hell Cannon and be totally fine. On the meantime, Torture's taking a bunch of damage, but to Typhoon as he goes down, as does Grenix. And Zephyr is going to jump even further. No, as his Shrunken Head is wearing off. The tower goes down, Dr. Pulse is going to jump in, put the Hellflower onto Tempest, and now he's going to die thanks to the Codex. Meanwhile, the Face-Out comes in and kills Ravener. Hag manages to blank out despite taking the Hellfield stun, but she's still in some trouble. Actually, is there once again just diving as well.
Legion barracks has been destroyed.
And there's the CC vote up again. GG will plays are being called, and that's certainly going to end it. Zephyr just diving the well now. He's got the Void Talisman on, so he doesn't even care. This is at the end, so there goes Hag. Good Codex. So, really good play in the beginning from Sweet Like Ice. They won a couple of their lanes, but then it came to the point where SG was just ready to go mid-game, group up, take team fights, outfarm their opponents, and really showing why they're a top-tier team is that even when they get down in a laning phase like that, they know how to take the resource control, start out farming people, take picks where they can get them, and find the appropriate timings to group up and take some towers, and eventually take some racks, take some team fights. So strong performance really by both teams. It's just, at some point SG's skill and coordination and teamwork is just that much better, and they're ultimately going to win the game. But it took them a while to do so. So really, good play too from Sweet Like Ice as we move on to game number 2.